Counters. We love and we hate them. If you play Smack Studio for any long amount of time, you know the character Cayenne. He's got one of the strongest counters in all of Smack Studio, with it being a frame 1 intangible counter. This means he can counter ultras, he can counter grabs, but the least of all is he can counter projectiles. Now, in some instances, this can be useful, where if the opponent uses a projectile to approach and ends up being too close, they will get hit by the counter box and receive some damage. But at worst, you activate the counter and are open completely to a whiff punish. Now, how do we go about resolving the issue with projectiles and how they interact with counters? More or less, how do we go about removing projectiles entirely? As we see here with this example, I have a character that has created an anti-projectile zone where the character can enter but a projectile cannot. How did I go about accomplishing this? Let's take a look. Well, as we can see here, we are in Smack Studio, and let us take a look at that character displayed before with the anti-projectile sphere. So this is a character that I'm in development on. So I have assigned this anti-projectile sphere to this character's neutral special. Now let's take a look at this hitbox. Alrighty, we have a mighty hitbox here. Large in size, covers the entire player. This seems a bit unfair. But as you saw before, Granite was able to walk into this sphere and not take any damage. However, the projectiles could not. Now how did I accomplish this? Well, if we click on this hitbox here, we could see two important things checked off in our detection features. Each hitbox you make, not hurtbox, the hitbox, the red square, allows you to detect two options. Only hit grounded foes and only hit aerial foes. What this means is if I had only hit aerial foes checked off here, that means if a player was jumping, they would get hit by this. If I had the opposite, that would mean if a player is in the air, they won't get hit, but if they're on the ground, they will get hit. However, there's a unique property that a projectile does not share with anyone else. So a projectile can neither be grounded or aerial despite what it looks like. A projectile holds its own special property that when these two are ticked off, the game does not detect a player as grounded or aerial, meaning that you're only detecting for both, but that's not possible. They conflict with each other. So it just naturally goes to the next thing. A projectile, the only other hitbox it can hit. So when a projectile enters an area, it'll immediately be killed. This is editing Null'n Void here, and I just want to mention it won't guarantee a kill on a projectile only if you give the hitbox damage. So if you want to make Game & Watch down special where it absorbs a projectile and gets stronger, you can absolutely do that. The hitbox is only defined by what you give it and what properties you give in the hitbox actions. Just figured I'd state that now to clear up any confusion. And the way to make sure that this is relatively immediate, you can have this like 1,000 and it'll kill a projectile on spot, as well as make sure you have a clear player hit flag in the action, so that way if a projectile does spawn inside of the area, it just dies immediately. Now, nifty thing about this is you can use this for counters on other characters. So here's another character that I've been working on. This is Talia here. Now Talia's counter is a bit special. Their down special is not like any regular counter. They have a blind spot counter, meaning you can hit them in the back, but you cannot hit them in the front. And if you see here, there's a hitbox. So like Cayenne's counter, I was sick and tired of counters being activated by projectiles. So I took a page out of Super Smash Bros. Book and made it so that this only detects projectiles but also reflects them on hit. So when this character releases, if there's a projectile flying your way, you can safely counter this projectile without activating the second hit. Unlike Cayenne's counter, where the moment a projectile hits him, he immediately activates the second hit, allowing for whiff punishes. Now, this can be a good and a bad thing. It is entirely up to the creator of a character, but this is some unique tech that I figured I could share with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching this video. If you would like to see more, please like and subscribe, as I'm more than happy to produce more in-depth tutorials about advanced techniques and guides. If you have any special requests you would like to put into the comment section about specific tutorials you would like me to cover, let me know. I'm always open to try new topics and discuss other things. This has been Null'n Void, also known as Brother Utah, and signing off.